The Rock is back and he is shaking up the road to WrestleMania, and a Cody Rhodes heel turn looks closer than ever before. We have an absolute bunch to talk about from last night's SmackDown. I'm Ben Allison, you're watching Allison Analysis, and here are my 5 key findings from last night's episode. In at number 5, The Rock needs to decide what gimmick he wants to use and then stick to it. The Rock turned face, turned heel about 20 times during his promo last night, and then afterwards he did a press conference. And after last year's press conference, I think everybody presumed that he was going to do this in gimmick, and this was going to advance the storyline even more. But then very strangely, he didn't do it in kayfabe at all. He did it outside a gimmick. He was talking about how him and Cody shared multiple drinks after the promo they had. It was just very strange. And when it comes to his promos in the ring, it is very clear The Rock does not have any restrictions. And fair enough, he has earned that right. But honestly, I think he should set some restrictions, some boundaries for himself here. Because these promos he does where there are no restrictions, it's some of the worst promo work he has ever done. He just waffles, basically, right? He just goes on like a massive maze all the way to eventually get to the point. And once he gets to the point, it's great. But he could get there way faster. And better, too. I mean, don't get me wrong, this was nowhere near as bad as the NXT one, which just was horrific. But still, you could have gotten to the point way quicker and in a way more productive manner, I'd say. Because once it did get to the point, it got me hyped. But it just took too long to get there and it was way too confusing. In at number 4, in case it wasn't obvious before, Naomi was the one who took out Jade Cargill. Every time somebody during this investigation has mentioned the possibility of someone attacking Jade, Naomi has jumped on it right away. She's basically interrupted them mid-sentence, especially when it's Nick Aldis talking. And last night she did it once again, right? Nobody's even managing to question whether or not Liv and Raquel even did it. We just know they were around the crime scene. And the reason for that is Naomi jumps in every time. So it is clear as day to me that Naomi was the one who took out Jade Cargill. It's the worst kept secret, I think, at this point. But the real question is, the big question is, who will Bianca Belair end up siding with? Will she end up turning heel and turning on Jade Cargill? Or will she align herself with Naomi, keep teaming with Naomi and keep those tag team championships together? What's really fascinating to me is a lot of people online really badly want to see Bianca Belair turn heel, and she is one of the biggest babyfaces in this company, and especially if they're going to be turning Cody heel, I'm not sure you can turn both of them heel at the same time. Also, I think Bianca Belair is such a good babyface. She doesn't really need to turn heel either. They just need to give her better stuff as a face. I mean, don't get me wrong, she played a heel in NXT and she played it well, so she undoubtedly could do that role, but I just don't really think it's necessary. In at number 3, Melo Dope Miz genuinely has potential as a tag team as long as it's short term. Now, don't get me wrong, Melo deserves way, way better, right? He should have a big match on this WrestleMania card, but the fact is, he doesn't. So if this team is a way to get him a match at Mania, well, I'm okay with it. For a short-term story, I do think this could be fun, and we need to do something with The Miz as well, and The Miz is a veteran. He could teach a lot of stuff to Melo behind the scenes as well as on screen, so I do think as long as it's a short-term thing, it'll be fine. Also, their finisher, I want to talk about this for a second, right, because nobody is talking about it, but it was awesome. But yeah, just please find something for Melo on this Mania card. He deserves it. He's got so much talent and he needs to be getting the spotlight that he so very much deserves. But before we get into the top 2 findings, could you guys please do me a huge favor and like and comment? It really does make a huge difference. Here at Wrestling Republic, we create between 5 to 10 free videos per week. And in addition to that, we have a live daily stream every single day, including today at 8 p.m. UK, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific over in the United States. Thank you guys. In at number 2, 3-hour SmackDowns aren't working at all. Outside of the Rock promo, let's face it, this was probably one of the worst SmackDowns, if not the worst, in years. I mean, since SmackDown has gone to 3 hours, it feels like there has been less action, less meaningful storylines, and just more promo packages. And I love a promo package. I always say AEW, you need to do more promo packages. But let's face it, now it's like every other minute. I mean, the only people to benefit from SmackDown going to 3 hours are Pretty Deadly. And you know me, I love the Yes Boys, my boys, but they need to do more than that. I mean, the women's division has somehow been booked worse. A lot of people thought this would be really beneficial for Chelsea Green and the mid-card division, but it hasn't been in the slightest. I mean, since Triple H took over, I really enjoyed the 3-hour Raws, and now it's at 2.5 hours. I really do think it's found the sweet spot. But I don't understand how 3-hour Raws were so good, and 3-hour SmackDowns are this bad. It's not working at all, and it's a big commitment. It's a big ask to ask people to watch something for 3 hours on a Friday night. So if they do make that commitment, you better believe you need to make it worth their while. And so far, basically none of these 3-hour SmackDowns have been. And in at number 1, is The Rock going to bring out Homelander Cody? Last night, The Rock revealed that he doesn't want Cody's title, he wants his soul. So is Cody going to become the corporate puppet, let's say, for The Rock? So essentially becoming the Homelander that fans have wanted to see for quite some time. If so, Homelander Cody versus a face John Cena at WrestleMania would be absolutely fantastic. But I don't think we're going to see it. As I've said before, John Cena is now advertised for the Raw side of the Road to WrestleMania European Tour, while Cody Rhodes is advertised for the SmackDown side. Now, these are 3 key weeks during the Road to WrestleMania, so no way can you have your biggest story on 2 different brands apart. But somebody who's very noticeably absent from the advertisements is CM Punk. So this makes me think that CM Punk is going to win the Elimination Chamber, and it is going to be Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk at WrestleMania. Now, there are a few benefits to it being CM Punk instead of John Cena, and the main one is that CM Punk isn't a black and white babyface. So Cody wouldn't overnight need to do a 180 heel turn. You could do it week by week slowly, and as CM Punk kind of is a tweener himself, it would make sense, while still being clear that Punk is the babyface by the time it gets to Mania. I'd personally love to see that. But there is another theory going around, and I don't believe this, but it is interesting, so I am going to mention it. Could Cody reject The Rock's proposal, and then The Rock helps Drew McIntyre win Elimination Chamber, and then we have a babyface Cody versus a heel Drew McIntyre with The Rock in his corner at WrestleMania? This would make sense why Drew was moved to SmackDown, and also would explain the teases that The Rock made between him and Drew earlier this year. Or sorry, last year now, but yeah, after last year's WrestleMania. I hope that's not where they go. I'd much prefer Cena versus Cody or Punk versus Cody, but maybe, who knows, maybe it could be Cody versus Drew. But now into the pros and cons from last night's SmackDown. Let's start with the pros because there aren't that many of them. I mean, The Rock's promo created a lot of excitement for WrestleMania. I'm even more hyped coming out of it, so I'm going to say that's a pro. The Melo Don't Miss finisher was awesome, so I'll put that on the pros list too. And then the main event match was fun. But as for the cons, McIntyre took a completely unnecessary loss to Jimmy Uso. The Tiffy and Nia storyline got overshadowed by not only Trish Stratus, but then also Charlotte Flair as well. Honestly, the Nia Jackson-Tiffy storyline has just been completely abandoned, and it annoys me as they built it up for such a long time. The Rock took about 10 years to get to his point in his promo. There were too many promo packages all night long. DIY versus Pretty Deadly was short but fun for the time it was, until the DQ finish. And despite the main event being fun, like I said, it was also completely filler, and truthfully, I didn't really care much about it. So, I hate to complain, I really do, and I love SmackDowns, but I'm going to give this the worst rating I've ever given to a show on Allison Analysis, because I'm going to say this was a steaming pile of dump. But what did you guys think of the show? Am I overreacting? If so, please let me know in the comments down below. But one thing is for sure, and that is I'm enjoying the ride The Rock is taking us on, but please can we take a few less long routes, right? I don't need a scenic route. Let's just get to the point, eh? Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!